When you're in China, you'll be sitting down in a nice restaurant with a bunch of classy Chinese people when all of a sudden a tug of war will start out of nowhere with two grown-ass Chinese people, but it won't be with a rope. No. The same classy Chinese people you saw earlier become gladiators fighting over the black leather notebooks that holds the bill, all to prove who's more generous. Yeah, in China, it's normal for friends to fight with all their might over who's gonna pay the bill. This is a sign of generosity in China. Now compare the Chinese to the Dutch. In Dutchland, you just split it evenly. It's like doing your taxes, just math, very impersonal. They don't care. You just split it. And if the Chinese look at that, they're like, oh my god, what's happening here? At least try to pay the bill, you cheap bastard. And the thing is, in China, the closer the friendship, the more fighting is gonna be over the bill. It's gonna be like kung fu match, probably. I don't know. Now, if this was set in the US where you could use guns, I guarantee you these Chinese people would pull a gun on their friends. Drop the bill right now, motherfucker. Bang, bang, bang. Don't you ever try to pay the bill again with me, Jackie. Bang, bang. And the thing is, it gets a little bit more complicated if you're dating a Chinese girl because you could be in a lot of trouble if you're invited by her dad or mom or something like that and you don't even try to pay. They're not gonna let you pay, but if you don't try to pay, like try to reach the bill, punch her dad a little bit, do a little kung fu, Wing Chun, you're gonna be in trouble because the dad is gonna categorize you as a cheap motherfucker, cheap bastard, not generous. Believe me, they're not gonna need any Korean drama that day because they're gonna be talking about you. The dad is gonna be talking about you. The mom's gonna be talking about you. All the drama is gonna happen because of you. So you gotta make sure you pay, but the dad is not gonna let you pay. He's gonna pay. It's like the Italian way, You wanna pay, you gotta get your own family. That's what happens if you're from an Italian family. You already know. But this is just like a test the Chinese father does. If you don't volunteer to pay, you're not just out of his favor. You're probably excommunicated from the family. So like I said, if you're in New York and you're from an Italian family, you get whacked if you try to pay. If you even try to pay, you get whacked by the father. But if you're in China, you get whacked if you don't try to pay. So you gotta try to pay, that way you'll win over the girl and her family. I just saved your relationship, so drop a like. But like I said, the dad is not gonna let you pay in the end. It's just a sign of respect for you to volunteer to pay. It's like you're generous, you like them, you're gonna try to pay. At the end of the day though, the Chinese are like the Italians. Once you become their official son-in-law and you marry his daughter, don't even try to pay. They'd rather see you than pay, just like the Italians. Next, let's talk about elders in China. Elders in China are very respected. They're not looked at as a burden as some people in the US view them. No, they're looked at as wiser and mentally stronger, champions of Chinese society. The Chinese are all about demanding respect for the older people. How do they do that? One of the ways they do that is by calling them certain names that would make the average Westerner's head spin. Normally in the US of A, we got Aunt Sally and Uncle Bill. That's about it, right? No one else gets the uncle and aunt title. It's prestigious for Sally and Bob. That's it. But in China, it's a whole different ball game. Your blood uncles and aunts in China share that title with people outside the family. That's right. You see, in China, in the family, you address senior people in a very specific way to show respect. And outside the family, you show the same respect to outsiders. And the titles of aunts and uncles are given to people who are your mom's age or your dad's age, and it doesn't matter if they're in your family or not. Outsiders are included. So if you meet a stranger on the street in China and he's about your dad's age, you're gonna have to call him uncle, regardless if he's related to you or not, to show respect. When you call them that, they will feel respected. And you have to call them that even if it's your first time meeting them. As a Westerner, this blows my mind. I don't even call my uncle. I just call him Mike. I gotta make sure he doesn't hear me call other people uncle. He's gonna be like, you didn't call me that, but bang bang. Thing is, if you're in China and you don't call the people who are your dad's age or your mom's age uncles or aunts, you're gonna be labeled impolite and socially awkward. It's just not the norm. But if you're a Westerner hanging out with some Chinese guy and he's taking you around the market and he's calling this woman aunt, this guy uncle, you'd be flabbergasted. You'll be scratching your head. Are these people all related? What's going on here? Everybody's uncle and aunt. This goes to show you that Chinese culture is so different than the States. If you do this in the US, you'll be labeled as a weirdo. People will think, Why you call me uncle? Why you call me aunt? People will be offended because that's like associated with older people, you know? Like, oh, you think I'm an old man? Or they just could think you're a weirdo, like, why you calling me uncle? Are you okay? Are you confused right now? I'm not your uncle, boy. But in China, when you call somebody uncle or aunt, you're acknowledging that they're older and wiser, showing respect to that person. If you don't use the proper titles to address people in China, you're going to be labeled as rude and people are going to be offended. Also, they're going to assume that your parents lack the skills to raise a proper child. They've raised a savage, an animal. Okay, let's talk about the purse thing. When you're in China, strolling through the amazing Chinese streets, you're gonna notice a lot of Chinese men standing and holding purses. And at first, as a Westerner, you're gonna do a lot of double takes. Huh? Man, there's a lot of gay Chinese people around. No, it's not like that. It's not their bag, it's their girlfriend's bag, you idiot. I'm the idiot. Almost every boyfriend in China gladly holds their girlfriend's bag, and they love to do it. I don't know why they love it. Maybe they want to send a signal to other dudes, letting them know that they're no longer part of the lonely and single club. Maybe, but probably this is just the way that Chinese men show their love to their women, proudly holding their purse. They're okay looking like a purse-carrying sidekick for a while if it makes their woman happy. Chinese men want to do everything for their woman to make them happy. It's a romantic thing. It's kind of like flirting, like, oh look, I held your bag and protected it against the fire-breathing dragon that was just here. I protected your property because I love you. And they don't do anything fishy. They don't check her purse to see if she's carrying $100 bill they could buy her a gift with later, or nothing like that. Nope, it's just part of the seduction ritual in China. It's a flirting thing to get out of the friend zone, because every girl in China, no matter how old she is, they want to be treated well and spoiled, just like any other girl. And holding a purse in China is a sign of strength for Chinese people. But in the US, if you're holding somebody's purse, other people might think you identify as a female or something else. It's weird.